So here's the thing about ethics, and specifically a medical research context. We have these rules and guidelines to protect people in their communities, and these rules often come at the price of being able to do whatever you want in research, which is a good thing. There's a very famous, or rather infamous, study that we look at a lot in bioethics courses called the Tuskegee syphilis study. This study was in 1932, and the United States Public Health Service took 600 black men, some had syphilis and some did not, and they just watched these black men to see what the course of syphilis would do to their bodies. These men were not told that they had syphilis, they were not treated for their syphilis, even though during the course of this study a treatment was developed. As a result of this study, we now know what syphilis looks like in the human body, but this experiment cannot and should not ever be replicated again. We now have ethics review boards, internal review boards, and people overseeing studies to make sure that people's human rights are being protected. So for example, we couldn't just have people with untreated chlamydia just to see what chlamydia does to the human body. We couldn't do the same thing for gonorrhea, for COVID. We can't just let people have untreated diseases. So we may not know what certain diseases look like at very late stages, but we still maintain these ethical guidelines because unlimited knowledge is not an unequivocal good. Nowadays, I feel like most reasonable people will say, of course we shouldn't let diseases go untreated for people. But what about when ethics gets in the way of more cool technology? So while certain science fiction advances like cloning humans or designing babies' genetics might be cool and interesting to look at, we have to consider the impact of these advances and indeed if these are truly advances. I'm thinking about this a lot for AI as well, like just because we can doesn't mean that we should. Or what are we doing to protect people from unethical bad actors with this technology that is so fun and interesting to play with? Just some food for thought.